Ah, the autumn garden, spade in hand with rows of beds waiting to be dug over. A familiar sight, isn't it? For generations, we've been told this is the essential ritual for preparing the soil for winter. But what if I told you this tradition isn't just pointless, but actively detrimental to your future harvest? Today, we're going to explore 7 compelling reasons why you should put that spade away for good this autumn. And of course, I'll show you simple, far more effective alternatives that will truly transform your soil. This practice of autumn digging originated from the days of breaking new ground, particularly in heavy, clay-rich soils. At that time, it was the only effective method to loosen the soil and make it viable for planting. However, in an already established, well-maintained garden, this approach proves to be counterproductive. Modern agricultural science no longer sees soil as a dead substrate, but as an incredibly complex living ecosystem. And a harsh disruption of this system breaks down all its natural processes. To kick things off, let's start with a core concept. Imagine for a moment that the soil beneath your feet isn't just dirt. Instead, picture it as a vast, multi-layered, bustling metropolis where life never stops for a second. Within this city, there are distinct levels, and each one is home to completely different inhabitants, each living by their own strict rules. On the upper levels, right at the surface, let's call them the penthouses, with prime access to fresh air, live aerobic bacteria. As their name aero suggests, oxygen is absolutely vital for their survival. These are the diligent workers and chefs of our garden. They are the ones responsible for breaking down all organic matter, things like fallen leaves and grass clippings, and transforming it into humus. This is the easily digestible nutrition that our plants' roots absolutely thrive on. Without them, the transformation of compost into fertile soil simply wouldn't be possible. They are our most valuable allies in the quest for a bountiful harvest, the architects of our soil's health and vitality. But descend into the basements of this underground metropolis, into the deeper layers where oxygen barely penetrates, and you'll find their counterparts, anaerobic microorganisms. They have an entirely different lifestyle and carry out different yet equally vital roles within this intricate ecosystem. As autumn arrives, you step onto your plot, determined and with shovel in hand. To the bustling inhabitants of the soil metropolis, your appearance is nothing short of a natural disaster. Every swing of your spade, every overturned clod of earth, is a true earthquake that shatters their established world and turns everything upside down. Imagine what happens. You take a layer of earth and flip it over. Those aerobic bacteria, the penthouse dwellers who cannot live without oxygen, you ruthlessly plunge into the deep basements. Deprived of air, they perish en masse, and their vital work grinds to a halt. Conversely, the basement residents, anaerobic organisms, you bring up to the surface, exposing them to the destructive effects of oxygen and sunlight. They too die. As a result of this crude interference, you single-handedly destroy an entire army of invisible helpers. Come spring, the soil greets you not rested and vibrant, but weakened, ailing and virtually sterile. Its fertility plummets dramatically. Now, let's talk about those more prominent residents of our soil, earthworms. These unassuming creatures are, in fact, nature's very own agronomists, the world's finest cultivators and ploughs. They work tirelessly, taking on the hardest tasks on our behalf. By digging their countless tunnels, they create an ideal structure within the soil. These vertical tunnels aren't just simple burrows. They serve as the Earth's vital arteries. Through them, air essential for respiration easily reaches plant roots, and through these same tunnels, rainwater and meltwater seep deep down, rather than pooling on the surface, nourishing even the deepest root systems. Worms mix the soil, enriching it with their own excretions, coprolites, which are an incredibly valuable organic fertilizer. They make the soil loose, porous, and teeming with life. However, autumn digging spells disaster for them. The sharp blade of a spade mercilessly destroys their homes, severs them into pieces, and wipes out entire populations. We are quite literally declaring war on those who make our land fertile, forcing ourselves to artificially loosen and fertilise in spring what nature could have done for us. However, there's another, more insidious problem we create for ourselves with autumn tilling. It's the awakening of a veritable army of weeds. You might be surprised to learn that in every cubic metre of soil, millions of weed seeds lie dormant. They can remain buried deep underground for years, even decades, simply waiting. They just don't have the right conditions to sprout. Insufficient light and warmth. They patiently await their moment. And in the fall, you unwittingly give them that very chance. When you turn over the soil with your spade, you inadvertently become the most diligent of sowers. You lift these dormant seeds from the depths to the surface, closer to the sun. You effectively provide them with the perfect head start come spring. As a result, as soon as the first rays of spring sun appear, instead of clean, planting-ready beds, you're greeted by a thick carpet of green shoots, lambsquarters, quackgrass, chickweed, and a host of other unwelcome guests. And for the entire next season, you'll be locked in an endless battle against the very weeds you sowed yourself last autumn. Let's take a closer look at the soil structure, its physical state. Healthy, undisturbed soil is teeming with millions of tiny invisible channels, capillaries. This intricate and highly organised network is created by plant roots, worm tunnels, and microbial activity. Through these capillaries, much like our own blood vessels, moisture from deeper soil layers rises to the roots of plants, providing them with nourishment even during dry spells. It's nature's ingenious self-watering system. So, what happens when we disturb this delicate balance with tilling? Tilling brutally and irreversibly destroys this entire finely tuned capillary network. Instead of a porous, spongy structure that can effectively retain moisture, you're left with a chaotic jumble of disconnected soil clumps. This soil only appears loose. In reality, it loses moisture incredibly quickly. Come spring, especially if the weather is dry and windy, your tilled garden beds will quickly dry out and turn as hard as rock in a matter of days. You'll be forced to start your gardening season with constant heavy watering, desperately trying to restore the very moisture balance you yourself destroyed. Another serious enemy we invite with autumn tilling is soil erosion. Imagine bare, freshly tilled soil. It's completely defenceless against the whims of autumn and winter weather. Heavy autumn rains no longer soak into the soil. Instead, they run off the surface, washing away the most valuable, most fertile top layer, the very humus that took years to accumulate. This is called water erosion. But there's also wind erosion. Winter winds, especially during snow-free periods, easily lift and carry away fine particles of fertile soil from your garden. Literally, your treasure blows away. However, soil covered by plants or mulch is reliably protected. Its structure is held together by roots and organic matter. Like a sponge, it absorbs moisture and resists the wind. Every autumn, by tilling your garden, you are, with your own hands, impoverishing your soil, allowing rains and winds to steal your future harvest. Year after year, that fertile layer becomes thinner and thinner. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. Deep digging your entire garden in the fall, that's incredibly strenuous physical labour. It means a sore back, aching hands, and wasted weekends. We pour an enormous amount of effort and time into a practice that, as we've just realised, actually does more harm than good. We're working against nature, not with it. It's like fighting windmills. What's the sense in putting so much effort into an action that destroys soil life, encourages weed growth, disrupts the water balance, and promotes erosion? Perhaps it's time to stop, put the spade away, and redirect our energy towards smarter, more effective gardening practices? After all, modern gardening isn't about brute force. It's about smart approaches and understanding natural processes. All right, you've got me. The spade goes to the back of the shed. But what do we do instead? Are we just supposed to abandon the garden to its own devices until spring? Absolutely not. The alternative to deep digging isn't doing nothing. It's a completely different, much gentler and more effective approach. Our main goal isn't to turn the soil over, but simply to gently loosen its top layer and get it ready for winter. The ideal tools for this are a Fokins flat cutter or a hand cultivator. Go over your garden beds with it, cutting away weed remnants and gently loosening the soil to a depth of no more than 5 to 7 centimetres, or about 2 to 3 inches. This is perfectly sufficient to improve aeration without disturbing the soil structure or bothering its deep-dwelling inhabitants. You'll spend significantly less effort and time and bring immeasurably more benefit to your soil. This is the first and a very crucial step towards a healthier, more vibrant garden. And here's the truly surprising part. The biggest paradox is that the best way to help your garden in autumn is to embrace a little healthy laziness. Instead of battling nature by constantly turning over the soil, we start to cooperate with it. We stop destroying the living world beneath our feet, and instead, we feed it. By covering your garden beds with organic matter, things like mown grass, fallen leaves, straw and compost, you kickstart an incredible process. Over the winter, worms and microorganisms will break down this mulch themselves. They'll naturally loosen the soil, enrich it with nutrients, and create the perfect structure for your future harvest. You're not just saving your energy, you're investing in the long-term health and fertility of your soil, which will only get better year after year. So, let's recap. Autumn digging destroys the living structure of the soil, kills beneficial microbes and worms, encourages weed growth, and contributes to erosion. Instead, all you need is light surface loosening and essential mulching of your beds or planting cover crops. It's simpler, faster, and thousands of times more beneficial for your garden. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. If you found this information new and useful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more gardening secrets. Now, a question for you. Do you still dig up your garden beds in the autumn? Or have you already joined the ranks of the lazy but wise gardeners? Share your experience in the comments below.